Welcome back to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast with Patrick Bolger, myself, and Carlos Casanova. Yes, Kirsten. And we're welcoming Chuck Darst to the table.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here.
My pleasure.
Would actually like to tell the audience a little bit about what you've been up to.
Sure. So part of the HP software team. I've been in the service desk business a bit, and I would say what's interesting for us is some of the big data things that we've been rolling in underneath our service desk.
Yeah.
I can elaborate more.
Yeah,
Please do. Nobody's watching.
Please.
Don't worry.
Just curious, so UK?
No. New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
Australia, right?
No.
What about
Carlos.
you? I don't want to step in it twice.
Irish living in London.
Oh well, that's a little schizophrenic. So, so why did I ask that? So HP bought Autonomy. I don't know how many years ago.
Way back,
Yep. And as part of that came along a set of technology idle that had been extensively used in security, marketing sentiment analysis, a little bit more interesting there, call centers. So you look at a lot of the same stuff that would go on in a call center. It's also stuff that would go on in a service desk. You have people talking to people. And for us, there was some kind of epiphany unlocking moments. And you think of like a lot of the classic service desk information is keyed information. It's configuration items, who worked on what assignment group, severities, all these things that you would do classic searches against in a database. But there's all sorts of other things that are really untapped and untracked today. Searches would be one. If somebody comes in through an end user self-service portal, you have no idea where that information goes. Yep, exactly. Referenceable information there. Another thing is, the state of a lot of end user self-service is self-service ticket is you type something in, you hit return. Yeah. And then somebody on the help desk picks that up, or the service desk picks that up and has to translate that, and sometimes it goes back and forth a few times. So what that same set of technologies would do is, 50 people have dialed in or ticketed, done something. They talk to somebody or they self-service, and that might map to kind of three things that are going on. And also it's what's trending actually today. And so on the front end, from the end user perspective, the 51st person's typing something in. And like the way a lot of kind of nice searching technologies do today, we'd auto-complete that, but we would say, we think there's a high probability. We don't say that, but what's presented on the screen is one of these three things. So I thought, number 2 is what's bothering me right now. I hit number 2, and then you could know other users have dealt with something and they maybe had never actually logged a ticket. They may have done some self-service sequence to solve their problem, or maybe it actually hit the service desk, incident manager or something like that, and they said, we solved that problem with this. And that information will then get presented back up to the end users or the agents. And stuff. So that's kind of like a classic ticket handling thing. One of the things that we could do, one of the things that we do is you take a picture of that. Like somebody's on a screen, blue screen, you take a picture of it. Part of that idle engine had all sorts of things. It could listen to voice tones. We don't do that. But
that's NSA work.
Those are the type of people that also use this technology.
British newspapers.
British newspapers. That is
absolutely. But optical character recognition, you could translate that, and what we've also seen is where you could have where something gets logged, even with the description field. The OCR thing's interesting, but it's a little, maybe it's gamey or something like that. But the ability to auto-categorize a ticket is really amazing. So we've had people that on our kind of more traditional products like Service Manager, where people have been using this for years, the system will go through there and it'll look at, the causality, what are the descriptions, what did this map to, things like that. And then all of a sudden it'll start doing ticket classification. And as it turns out, that is a very time-consuming step in kind of the whole set of reconciliations, and then you can also assign it. You say, well, this is the kind of assignments that have been working, and these are it's shocking, if some people, that could be 20-25% of that agent's time is doing these really remedial type tasks, mundane tasks, and very error prone too. You think of missed assignments, things not categorized correctly, stuff like that. So it's very, very cool stuff. And part of what is neat about it is just people will say, well, I'm small, I've got 5 people on the help desk or 10. This isn't for me because, it's big data and that means big and that's scary. And it really is delivered very seamlessly for the experience. So that's people are like, wow, it's almost magical. Some people are like, that looks like high-powered knowledge management, or that's definitely a dimension of it.
I mean, it's funny because in some cases I kind of chuckle when I hear that because in a way, those are the organizations that could benefit because they don't have all the resources to do certain things. And you mentioned autonomy. For me, it's kind of strange because I spent around the 2000s. I was actually looking at leveraging autonomy for a startup that I was building, and taking that and the pattern recognition of the data entry and all of that, and doing personalization back in 2000. So I'm kind of glad to actually see that it's actually. Sorry, but it's been 14 years. You've only had it for 6 or 7, right?
Yeah.
But seeing that come into this because there is so much power within that engine. And when I was looking at it 14 years ago, and it gets to the points that we were talking about, the suggestive. Here's 3 ideas that are already narrowed down from the whole enterprise. We know what your patterns are. We know the space that you tend to work in. You eliminate a lot of the false categorizations, and you get better results faster.
Right. I would agree with all that, and good ideas come back around. And there's a set of other things on autonomic self-service, agents out there, and you read some of it, and I don't want to say exactly how old I am, but
that's right.
None of us do.
I know it's kind of, but there are things like artificial intelligence. We're not claiming to do any of that kind of stuff, but I've seen some of that wording pop up in a few systems, and I'm like, oh, I remember studying that back when I was in the university and things. But
there's a tremendous amount of value, whether it's large organization or small. Large in a different case because the volume is so much greater. Small because you don't have the resources. And if it's scaled appropriately, you get the benefit, either direction. So that's great.
And the thing on the larger organizations, people that there are people that handle 1 million incidents a year or 100. That's a big organization. But when you then also go in and look, you can actually. It's a different lens on changes or incidents or problems also, because it's correlating multiple fields, looking for patterns in the stuff. So when
patterns keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We've talked about that a few times.
I'm an engineering, classically trained, so I see that, and it's just it's always there. It's systems engineering, it's patterns, it's always there.
Right, and what we've talked about is just that, the systems there's lots and lots of information out there, and it only continues to explode. So if you want to have some breakthroughs on self-service or efficiencies and this and that, you can make things easier to use and fewer clicks, and that's awesome, and everybody in the industry is trying to pursue that, but how do you actually provide some better knowledge and insights to make smarter decisions?
Informed decision making, that's it.
Yeah, I missed the metric talk this morning, but I thought, well, it's a very parallel kind of set of discussions and stuff. So. Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for your time, Chuck. It's been a pleasure chatting to you and finding out what you've been up to.
I know, in New Zealand.
You have to come visit someday.
Darn
It's a short flight.
It's a short flight,
All right,
it's right next to Australia.
It's all right. I mean, come on, it is a short flight. I left New Zealand at 10:45, and I got to
next morning.
Got to Vegas. No, I got to Vegas 3 hours before I'd left. So it's a very short flight.
Back to the future.
Yeah,
you get the food in the food processor, the whole bit.
Yeah, excellent.